don't know what the users will choose, but I do know that the alternatives are not good privacy. Like you said, those alternatives may be like 99% good enough, but that really depends on your, like, who's attacking you, what's your threat model. Like the idea of using Lightning for privacy means we will no longer disclose our slow, expensive macro payments to the whole world on the blockchain. Instead, we'll disclose to the whole world on the blockchain that we're getting into a Lightning channel with a hub, and then we'll disclose to that hub every micro payment that we make over and over. That might be worse for your privacy depending on who the hub is and what kind of privacy you need. If you're being targeted by a thief, or if you're being targeted by an advertiser who wants to make a model of everything you do so they can have advertisements follow you around on the internet. It really depends on what your threat model is. And I disagree with Alexander about the marginal added value of mixing and ring signatures, like all mixing systems. So there's ring signatures, coin join, which is a kind of mixing system where there's 4 people or 10 people or whatever, but there's a bunch of different people who all want to make a payment to a bunch of different recipients. And so they all get together and they agree to make a single big transaction that has all 10 of their payments, and then all 10 of the payments go out to the recipients. But someone else looking from the outside wouldn't know which of the 10 spenders originally wanted to pay which of the 10 recipients. That's called coin join, invented by Greg Maxwell. And there's ring signatures that the questioner mentioned, and there's mixing systems that Alexander mentioned, and they're all not safe. Mixing systems aren't safe. It's not like 99% of the time. It's like it depends on your use case. You may be completely vulnerable. And here's a specific example. Monero is a really great state-of-the-art system that has 3 different kinds of defenses built into it. And one of the defenses, namely to prevent someone from knowing who the sender was of a payment. That defense in Monero is a decoy or a mixing system using ring signatures. And ring signatures is one of the best cryptographic techniques to achieve that. But it doesn't matter because a decoy system is fragile and susceptible to the attacker seeing through it. It's like I said in my talk, a decoy system is one of those techniques where you're trying to add a little bit of noise to the system to prevent someone from figuring you out. And figuring you out despite noise is what modern science is all really great at. Modern computers are super great at that, and they're getting better. So in particular, if you sell some goods and you get paid in Monero, and then, so the Monero people, I was talking to some Monero researcher the other day about this, and he said, let's be sensitive here, and let's use an example such as if you're in a country that hates Christianity and you want to sell Bibles, but some enemy in that country might target you for selling Bibles. Okay, so this is just one example, but if you're selling anything, including Bibles, for Monero, and you're being targeted by someone who hates you selling that thing, it is very likely unsafe to use Monero for that purpose, even if you use the current best practices for the use of Monero. And that's because the ring signatures conceal your identity among a small number of decoy identities, like 5, from the perspective of the recipient. So if someone buys goods from you and they pay you in Monero, and then every now and then you take some of your wallet, some of the money out of your wallet, and you deposit it into an exchange to convert it into some other money to pay your bills. Now, an attacker who wants to identify you as the seller of illegal Bibles, all they have to do, if they can compromise the exchange and they want to find out which user, which customer of this exchange is the one who's selling illegal Bibles on the darknet market. All they have to do is they buy a Bible from you. And since they're the buyer, that allows them to see through one of the 3 layers of Monero's defenses, which is the stealth addresses, which we didn't get into. But anyway, they can see through one of the 3 layers of the defenses since they're the buyer. And stealth addresses only protect you from everyone else. They don't protect you from the sender. Okay? And if somebody wants to target you for selling Bibles illegally, this is the way they do it, is they buy a Bible from you. That's how they start, okay? And then they wait until the next time you deposit into the exchange, and then they compromise the exchange by hacking into their servers or asking them very nicely to explain who deposited something. And what they will see is that either you or one of 4 other decoys were the source of that deposit. Because there's 4 decoys in the current version of Monero, and in near future versions they have improved the cryptography substantially. They might be able to improve it to like 100 instead of 4, but that won't fix this. I'm almost done. This is important, especially if you're a Bible seller. Pay attention. Okay. So the point is, now you've got a certain degree of plausible deniability. The attacker who's trying to identify you could say, okay, one of these 5 must have been the person I bought the illegal goods from. But any one of the 5 is equally likely to be the seller, and the other 4 just random people randomly selected out of the Monero blockchain. Okay, now what the attacker does is he buys a second Bible from you. Now what happens? The next time you go to deposit, it doesn't matter if you do it right away or a month later, the next time you go to deposit some of that money into the exchange, he will see that either you or these other 4 random people, okay, the first time it was you and these 4 random people, the second time it was you and these other 4 random people out of the Monero blockchain. There's only one person who deposited money from Bible 1 and deposited money from Bible 2. Now that's the kind of fragility that always follows around the mix-in or decoy or ring signature approaches, because they're exposing a lot of information about you and trying to add a little bit of noise on top of the information to protect you. It's dangerous. Okay, I'll stop.